Good morning, everyone. You who are sitting, you who are coming in, you who are on Zoom with your fuzzy slippers. Welcome to the First Universalist Church of Yarmouth. I'm Sarah Whitty, I'm on the Worship Council. At First Universalist, our mission is to explore our faith, embrace this community, and to engage the world as spiritual seekers. May we take these words to heart. If this is your first time to our congregation, an extra welcome. We invite you to fill out the little connection card in the pew in front of you so we can connect you with events and opportunities and things coming up. You can drop it in the offering plate when that comes around. For those of us joining with young children, nursery care is available at the end of this hall on the left, and other children will be going downstairs with down the hall to the big room, wonderful room for kids with Gwen. Following our service, all are invited to join us for coffee hour, our time of friendship and fellowship following our service. Before we begin this morning, I have 3 announcements. As we have for the past 2 years, First U has again committed to staffing the State Street Church shelter. State Street provides a shared kitchen, bedrooms, bathrooms, and laundry to a small number of families through the winter, and about 20 churches take turns providing on-site support. So that's us, one of those. There are 2 shifts each night, an early, like from 6 to 8:30, and then the overnight shift from 8:30 p.m. to 7:30 the next morning. There are 2 volunteers in each shift, so we can go down in pairs. First Universalist is hoping to cover a whole week, which is the first week of April, basically. So 7 days, 4 people, 28 people. Sign up. I've done it a number of times, and they make it very simple. Last time I was there, I played a wild game of ping pong with the kids. It was hilarious. In the morning, when the kids go off to school and the parents go off to see what they can do about their security as asylum seekers, you choke up. It's pretty amazing. I can hardly imagine their courage, and I'm so glad to know that they'll be back that night in a warm church. So to sign up or learn more about this opportunity, please look at your email channels, which arrived on Friday morning, or talk to Reverend Hillary, or to Dale, or to me. That was number 1. Following our worship service today, Reverend Hillary will lead our monthly Soul Matters discussion on our March theme of trust. So grab your coffee, your snacks, and meet in the common room, which is down the hall that way on the lower floor. 11:45 to 12:30, and everybody is welcome. Lastly, this Wednesday, please join our RE assistant and friend Nicole Ray for a special yoga class in honor of the Spring Equinox. Nicole is a certified yoga instructor, and she will lead a practice that is open to all ability levels. There is a suggested donation of $15 for this class, all of which will be donated. For information about any of these things, again, go to your Friday Channels newsletter or come see us at the welcome table downstairs. And now we have arrived, and we're able to create this time and space for all we are, all we hold, all we offer. Sam, Chandler, and the choir will lead us into worship. Thank you.
See Thank you, choir. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Wicked springy out there, isn't it? Downright vernal. Happy almost spring. I'm Reverend Hillary. I serve as the minister here. Our church, built on land once and still tended by Wabanaki people on the banks of a sacred muddy river, once and still called the Wescustago. And it is with peace and friendship that I say, whoever you are, wherever you're from, whomever you love, whatever it is you have done or left undone, whether you are bounding out of winter's hibernation, or you could really go for another month or two asleep in your den, you are welcome here. And we're so glad that you too have joined us in peace and friendship today. This morning, we gather to celebrate spring and honor the gifts of this precious world. In this fresh season, we'll consider how we can reconnect with ourselves, with each other, and with the earth to bring about positive change in all our relationships. And to begin our morning of springy celebration, I think a song is in order. And I bet it's a song that some people here know, especially if you were raised in Maine or raised a child in Maine at some point over the past 45 years. I bet, like me, some of you have this song etched deep in the recesses of your psyche. Perhaps you find that it just starts playing in your mind every year around this time. Mud, mud, I love mud. I'm absolutely, positively wild about mud. I can't go around it, I got to go through it. Beautiful, fabulous, super duper mud. How about a little Rick Charette for your Sunday morning, friends? Anyone know this one? Do any folks know this song? Yeah. I remember seeing him play at the Balloon Festival in Lewiston. And it was like a Taylor Swift concert for me back then. It was wild. So let's sing it together. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't. It's a children's song, so I think you should catch on pretty quickly. We'll sing it twice. There is a little choreo that goes along with it. Can't go around it, have to go through it. Can't go around it, have to go through it. Okay? Let's try singing it. We'll sing it twice. Do your best. Choir, help me out here if you know this one. Mud, mud, I love mud. I'm absolutely, positively wild about mud. I can't go around it, I got to go through it. Beautiful, fabulous, super duper mud. Another time. Mud, mud, I love mud. I'm absolutely, positively wild about mud. I can't go around it, I've got to go through it. Beautiful, fabulous, super duper mud. That was nice. Happy spring, my beautiful, fabulous, super duper friends. As we settle into this time together, let's turn to our neighbors now, wish them a good morning, and ask them what signs of spring they've been seeing. And will you rise in body and spirit with me now and join in singing our opening hymn, number 145, as Tranquil Stream. Sam, what verses do we want to do?
We'll do verses 1 through 3.
Verses 1 through 3, as Tranquil Streams. And will you remain risen and join me in the words of our unison affirmation? They're written in your order of service. We are united in seeking to increase love with justice and to constitute a free church open for all people, mindful of our past and drawing upon modern knowledge. We respond to the spiritual needs of persons and are devoted to the common good in community, nation, and world. We cherish the integrity of each individual and search for truth with reason as our guide. We respect differences of opinion and strive to be a democratic community. We are concerned with this world and open to the future. You may be seated. Good morning, Gwen. You gonna light our chalice?
Good morning. Are there any children who want to come forward and help me light the chalice this morning? Hi, so good to see you. Yeah. I think these ones are not. All right, so do you remember what we do? We're going to say our chalice lighting words all together. Exactly. All right. Come on, right over here. Yeah. I like the koala. Do you want to hold the... Okay, you don't have to. Everett, do you want to hold the microphone? Okay.
We light our chalice in peace and friendship.
Good morning, everybody. Sometimes these days, it feels hard to know what or who to trust, or what or who to put our trust in.
And I think it's because trust is kind of tangled up with faith. When we trust something or someone, we're putting faith in them, often believing in the promise of a certain future.
It can be scary to trust. It can be frightening.
But sometimes it's a wonderful act of faith, too, to trust.
I think so, too. You know what I do trust right now? I trust... This bulb! Well, I trust most bulbs, really.
And planting bulbs, what a belief in the promise of the future.
Now raise your hand if you've ever planted a flower bulb before. Yes, and yes, if you've planted them, you probably know when they tend to be planted. In the fall, yes, in the fall.
So you take the bulbs, they don't look like much. In fact, sometimes they look almost sort of dead. Sometimes they're papery, they can be dirty, and maybe not even look quite alive. And you plant them in the soil when it's getting close to winter.
And somehow, we all believe in the magic of the bulbs, and the magic of the soil, and the magic of snow, the magic of rain, the magic of mud, the magic of sun, and usually our faith is rewarded.
Because sometimes in spring, out will pop these green shoots, these ones. And with more rain and sun and mud, they'll turn into flowers.
Our trust and patience are rewarded with those beautiful blooms. Can you believe it? Somehow we went from bulbs to shoots To flowers, it feels miraculous.
So when it feels hard to trust anything, this is what I turn to, bulbs. I trust that what can seem almost dead can in fact be planted and nourished and cradled and grow into beautiful flowers. That with some work and with some miracles, we can have flowers again.
So here we are, so close to the spring equinox, ready for change, ready to trust, and now almost ready to go to Children's Chapel and Junior Youth Group, where both groups will be experimenting and playing with games about trust.
But before we go, let's say our children's blessing. We are Unitarian, Universalists, people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands.
That's okay. Yeah. We have all been there, haven't we? We now come to the time in our service that we set aside for quiet prayer and meditation. Following this time, I'll ring a chime and all will be invited to come forward and light a candle for a joy, sorrow, or concern you have today. First, though, will you join me, my friends, in taking a deep, refreshing breath in, a calming breath out, and relax into a sacred time of silence. Will you join me in another short moment of quiet, friends? For all that has been said, for all we hold inside, for all we simply do not have the words to explain. We hear you, we hold you, and we wish you continued joy, immediate comfort, a path forward, and the seeds of peace right now. Let it be so. Amen. And I welcome our friend Dale forward to share a reflection with us. Thanks, Dale.
Good morning, everybody. Your program says John Ottenbull and Dale Shields, but you just get me. I serve on our Board of Trustees and the Faith and Action Council. And I want to tell you about a very special commitment our church has made the past couple of years. Sarah Whitty, my friend, told you a little bit about it in the announcements. It was number one. And in true form, in my life, repetition is necessary. So our church is one of 17 faith communities that's helping staff a winter shelter for unhoused families at the State Street Church in Portland. And right now there are 4 families, about 6 adults and 8 children. And on all but Sundays and holidays, they're required to leave the shelter by 10 a.m. and can return at around 6 p.m. And it's in the evenings and overnight that we will volunteer and provide them with our attention and love. We'll get to, if you choose to volunteer, you'll get to attend to the front door security. You'll keep an eye on the phone. You'll get to interact socially with them, play with kids, or if it's an overnight gig, you'll sleep. And there are brand new private one-bedroom accommodations for the 2 overnight volunteers that are there every night. So coming up soon, the week of March 30th to April 5th, we're going to try and cover those 28 slots. So what's it like, you ask? Well, I volunteered 3 times. Twice I've spent the night, and just this week I was a greeter for 2 hours. And overall, it's really easy, enjoyable, and you feel welcome. There's a shelter staff person named Bernardo who's there full-time, knows all the people, and who will train you. He also speaks Portuguese, so that's a big help. That's a big help. And so he'll train you, and then he will pass out on the couch next to you for a much-deserved nap. I was like... For sure, while you're there, you probably won't have long conversations with anybody unless you speak French or Portuguese. But I promise you'll be able to communicate if you want to, and the kids will really keep you entertained. So you can picture sitting on a comfy couch or at a table in this big dining room, living room space, breathing, watching everything, holding space, and being a witness as other human beings in the middle of an unimaginably huge transition create home and create love with the little things, like the women coming in at 6 and heading straight to the kitchen and starting to chop vegetables and prepare dinner and singing. And then the kids coming in and checking in with mom and then running in and starting to play dodgeballs, ping pong, doing arts and crafts. And then the men coming in, checking in with their families and helping to serve. That's it. So if you're looking for ways in these times to build bridges with people that are beyond your regular community, or in-person ways to just make a difference in someone's life, then maybe this is your chance. For me, it feels like one small thing that aligns with my values, my faith, gets me out of my comfort zone, and helps counteract the anti-immigrant rhetoric that's out there right now. And like Sarah said, I'm not the only person in the church that's done this. But you can find me at coffee hour or email me or find one of the other wonderful folks who have done this if you have questions. I hope you'll try it.
Our offering. Today, half our offering will be shared with Atlantic Black Box, which is leading a grassroots movement to surface the region's suppressed history of racial violence and oppression. Atlantic Black Box, led by Meadow Dibble, who was our guest last couple weeks ago, offers participatory archival research, storytelling, relationship building, and walking, cultivating embodied connection to people and places. If you're at home, you can make your donation with the click on the link in your order of worship, and for the rest of us, we'll pass our plate. Thank you for your kindness and your generosity.
Beautiful. Thank you, choir. Friends, will you rise in body and spirit and join in singing our song of thanksgiving? The short verses are in your order of worship. Thank you so much for your generosity. You may be seated. Our reading this morning is from this little book by Robin Wall Kimmerer, who you might know for her much beloved book, Braiding Sweetgrass. This is her new publication called The Service Berry. She writes, "How we think ripples out to how we behave. I'm thinking of a spring I know where the water is icy cold and gushes out of the ground, It almost makes you dizzy with its vitality. I drink from my cupped hands, splash my face, and fill my canteen for later. Isn't this how water was meant to be? Free and pure? How long has it been since you drank wild water? It feels like a gift to me. The life of that water became my life and my joy in its presence. Gift thinking means that in my gratitude for the drink, I'll clean the leaves from the bottom of the pool and take care not to muddy the edges. I care for the gift so it can keep on giving. But if I mistreated that spring by sullying it or damming up the water that belongs to itself and selling it off, the consequences would be an emotional breach as well as the ruination of the water quality. I'd feel as dirty as the water. Mistreating a gift has emotional and ethical gravity as well as ecological resonance. In the spring of 2016, I accepted a position as the Minister of Religious Education at a 900-member UU church outside of Washington, D.C. I had just completed all the training necessary to be a UU minister, a process 7 years in the making, and I was a fresh-faced, bushy-tailed, and ready for ministerial action. I didn't know Washington very well, but nonetheless was enthusiastic to live there, especially with what I thought was the impending election of the first woman president, who just so happened to have a really great first name. This hopeful outlook, though, soon was quashed. I lived in a 5th-story, 1-bedroom apartment in Northwest DC, right on Connecticut Avenue, a street that makes a straight beeline to the White House. Hearing the sirens of police-escorted motorcades and feeling the rumble of swarms of black helicopters became part of my daily life. I never got used to those parades of power. Power that felt nefarious in its intent, even before that fateful election. While it was amazing to simply walk to the Women's March that January and join 500,000 people calling for action, including Madonna, and then walk back home, I quickly became overwhelmed that winter, trying to show up, keep up, and stay sane in the midst of so many threats to rights that mattered to me and my loved ones. Every day, there was a protest, or a counter-protest, or an action training, or an emergency need for allies to mobilize now. Pick a cause, the associate minister of the church I served told me. A long-time resident of DC, she was no rookie to this sort of scenario. You gotta pick the cause that energizes you, that you feel in your soul more than anything else, and show up fully for that one. Otherwise, Hill, you are toast in this town. Perhaps I was in over my head. Perhaps I was too young and naive. Perhaps I'm just a really sensitive guy. But despite my efforts to pick one cause and ignore the rest, I could not, for the life of me, let it all go. Quickly, I realized the cause I chose, environmental justice, was interconnected with every other cause one could care about in this world. I became so mad all the time, and so scared, and so stressed, so, if you will, sucked in. It was on the Spring Equinox of 2017 that I finally cracked. I'll never forget it. I was standing in Lafayette Square, a park directly north of the White House, there in solidarity with indigenous tribes people who had traveled from all over the country to hold ceremony on the national lawn that week. As we chanted Mini Wichoni, water is life, together, I saw a rowdy group of teenagers, many in red hats, approach one of the drum circles and begin to heckle them, spit at them, make vulgar gestures with their hands and bodies, and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. I felt a blazing heat surge through my body, and I moved towards them. I wanted to scream at them, those kids. I wanted to grab them and shake them, hurt them. And their adult chaperones, don't even get me started. As I drew closer, I was stunned when I saw that many of them were wearing sweatshirts from a school in Maine. The tribes had their protectors who arose with fierce gentleness to intercept and redirect this adolescent mob. As I watched the scene, my heart pounding, head throbbing, I began to cry. I got back on my bike, rode up Connecticut Ave back home, sobbing and shaking. I was toast, burnt to the proverbial crisp, no longer of use to the cause. I submitted my resignation to the church soon after and returned north that summer. Clearly, there'd be work to do up here too, after I took a beat and pulled myself together. In an article published just a couple weeks ago titled, "We Were Made for These Times," the beloved writer and activist Clarissa Pinkola Estes writes, "I have heard from so many people recently who are deeply and properly bewildered. Ours is a time of daily astonishment and righteous rage, and you are right in your assessments. Yet I urge you," she writes, "I ask you, gentle you, to please not spend your spirit dry by bewailing these difficult times. In any dark time," she writes, "there's a tendency to veer toward fainting over how much is wrong or unmended in the world. Do not focus on that. Ours is not the task of fixing the entire world all at once. What is needed for dramatic change is an accumulation of acts, adding to and adding to and adding more, continuing. Any small, calm thing that one soul can do to assist some portion of this poor, suffering world will help immensely. Any small, calm thing one soul can do will help immensely." I've been reflecting on that moment in Lafayette Park, that surge of rage, that violent impulse, that deep grief, a lot lately. While I wish I could say I'm enlightened enough now to have fully surpassed moments like that, I, alas, am not, and I'm so sorry to disappoint you. I have, however, come to fully recognize that moments like that are not aligned with the vision I'm trying to bring about in this world, a vision of compassionate connection, of rooted belonging, of gentle yet fierce guardianship. So often in activist movements today, I see that rage, that fear, let's call it what it is, that hate in action. Hate and fear, though, are tools of the Master's house. And as the prophet Audre Lorde reminds us, the Master's tools will never dismantle the Master's house. Or as MLK preaches, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Over the past 2 months, I have received with great gratitude, 6 copies of Robin Wall Kimmerer's latest book, The Serviceberry, from friends here. Some known, most anonymous. Thank you. And I would like to take this moment to say, I have a copy of it. I cannot help but smile, though, at the thought of these gifts, because this book is about gifts, the giving and receiving of gifts. You were so inspired by it. You're so good. I passed on the extras as gifts, and one loved one, so moved by it, gifted me with a Saskatoon serviceberry bush that should be arriving from Fedco sometime in April. So look for serviceberry pie from me next Pie Day. You got to keep the gift economy strong, you know? The serviceberry is a meditation on the transformative power of reciprocity. And while I encourage you to read every page of this little book, ultimately, to get the gist of it, you just need to turn it over and read the back, which says, "All flourishing is mutual." To name the world as gift, hello, goodbye. To name the world as gift, Kimmerer writes, okay, great. Rooted belonging in action. There we go. Okay. To name the world as gift, Kimmerer writes, is to feel your membership in the web of reciprocity. It makes you happy and it makes you accountable. Conceiving of something as a gift changes your relationship to it in a profound way. A woolly knit hat that you purchase at the store will keep you warm, regardless of its origin. But if it was hand knit by your favorite auntie, then you are in relationship to that thing in a very different way. You are responsible for it. You're likely to take much better care of the gift hat than of the commodity hat, because the gift hat is knit of relationships. That is the power of gift thinking, she writes. I imagine if we acknowledge that everything we have is a gift of Mother Earth, we would take better care of what we are given. As I read The Serviceberry, I was awash in epiphanies regarding my many tethers to capitalism and the commodification of the Earth's precious goods. And since I am actively trying to get into conscious relationship with the gifts and the givers in my life. In the midst of these epiphanies, though, one tenet that I've heard thrown around in activist and spiritual circles throughout my life kept showing up in my brain. Anger is a gift. This pithy phrase has been attributed to everyone from the Buddha to Aristotle to the lead singer of the heavy metal band Rage Against the Machine. I can't find proof that any of them actually said it, but nonetheless, I know it's a guiding principle for many trying to make change in the world. Anger is a gift. Given my struggles, both expressing and repressing anger, I'm on the fence as to whether anger is, in fact, a gift. But I wonder if held in the light of Robin Wall Kimmerer's philosophy of giving, if this tenet offers a teaching we need now. Conceiving of something as a gift, she writes, changes our relationship to it. We take better care of what we have been given. How we think ripples out to how we behave. In this age of daily bewilderment and righteous rage, it is easy to let our spirits run dry. When this happens, it's like our upset becomes detached from our humanity. It becomes hate, despair, exhaustion. We forget that we belong to one another. We forget that this anger stems from a deep love and a fiercely gentle protectiveness of the earth and her beings. When this happens, we're toast. What happens, though, if we recognize our anger as a powerful gift from the earth to be honored and used with care and love? Friends, in our relationships, in all of our relationships, let's try right now to stay in our bodies, to retain our humanity and remember that all flourishing is mutual. The fact is, Clarissa Pinkola Estes writes, is that we were made for these times. Yes, for years we've been learning, practicing, training, and just waiting to meet on this exact plane of engagement. All we can know right now, she says, is that we are needed right now. All we can know right now is that we are needed right now. My friends, at this, the cusp of spring, let yourself thaw out, soften, brighten, green. Feel your place in the family of things. Give thanks for the gifts and the givers and share what you got. And along the way, love the mud. You can't go around it. You gotta go through it. Let it be so, and let there be mud. Amen. Our closing hymn is number 8, Mother Spirit, Father Spirit.
Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, where are you? In
join me in a time of benediction? May all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings experience profound joy and the causes of profound joy. May all beings feel the promise of spring, the fresh air, the bright light. Feel free until we all get free. And will you join me in the words of our unison benediction? For those who come here seeking God, may God go with you. For those who come embracing life, may life return your affection. For those who come to seek a path, may the way be found and the courage to take it step by step. Go in peace, my friends. The service begins when the service ends.